Well, I'm at All Stars right now with coverage presented by HTC Esports to speak to two very sick women. Sjokz, who just got here, and Ovilee, who's been here. And I should say at the start of this interview, I really wanted to do this interview. I talked to Sjokz and Ovilee about it beforehand. We were all really excited about it. And then Ovilee got sick. How sick are you, Ovilee? Can you even just try to whisper? We bumped your levels.
It hurts to talk sometimes.
Okay, so we're gonna see how much we can get through. We might have to use subtitles. Let's talk though. So, Sjokz, you came in on Saturday, or you got it on Friday, and then you showed up on Saturday. So, what have you thought of All Stars so far? Now that it's been a couple days.
Well, it was really weird getting there in the middle of the event because it was really awkward because you feel so out of it and then you dive straight into the action. I think in the end, it's a really weird place for an event regardless, because the pro players, they gave their all during Worlds, and then now there's all these contract talks and all that stuff going on. So I get that you want something that feels like it's worth something and that's important, but I think you can also understand that players don't want to give it the full 100%, although the LPL had a whole boot camp and stuff. So I think it's kind of up to the players to do what they want with it. But I hope it was still entertaining enough for the people at home.
Yeah. Ovilee, how have you enjoyed All Stars? It was great. Yeah, fantastic. If you're going to whisper, you have to put the microphone really close.
Very exciting.
Okay, very exciting, she says. All right, so now that we've talked about All Stars, let's talk about the two of you. So it's going to be very difficult to do this interview without Ovilee being able to speak because Ovilee, you tweeted something whenever the broadcast lineup came out about how a year ago you would have never believed that you were on the same lineup 3 years ago. So you would have believed this a year ago is what you're saying. Okay, so not even a year ago you would have believed that you'd be on this lineup with all these folks at this international event, and specifically with Sjokz. So what is it like for you to, even though you guys aren't able to cover the same days, be here at this event working together? Mind-blowing. Yeah.
It's like a dream come true.
Like a dream come true.
Dream come true.
Okay.
Because when I was high school, I looked up to you very
I'm
much.
so old. You were in high school. You're looking up to me. No. It's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
That's why I watched everything you did, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I freaked out a little bit.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And so then there's an interesting thing where Ovilee had done some interviews with us at Yahoo, but then she suddenly shows up on the broadcast, and everyone just starts spamming NA Sjokz, NA Sjokz, NA Sjokz, NA Sjokz, NA Sjokz. And I imagine that must have been kind of annoying for you to see all that. But, what can you talk a little bit about now, North America having not just another white dude on broadcast, but actually, a female talent?
Well, the NA Sjokz spam, I was annoyed at it just for her because I was like, why do you have to? She's Ovilee and she's doing her thing, but then I talked to her about it, and she has a much thicker skin than I do because she was like, you know what, it's cool, whatever, I'm just doing my thing, and I was like, so mad about it. I think in general it's a bit silly, of course, because I would say people you directly compare to is not just another woman that does your job, right? It's all the interviewers or all the whatever things you do. But I do understand it, and I think it's kind of cool, and I don't mind being called EU Ovilee, and I think Ovilee doesn't mind being called NA Sjokz. It's cool. We're all this together, and I don't know. It's a really weird feeling for me because it's still there's not a lot of women, There's Frosk and me on the main broadcast most of the time, so it's just really really freaking cool that that you're here and that you're doing so well. And I don't know, you just knock it out of the park. It must be Travis's excellent guidance, but can you confirm?
She's saying, you guys can't hear her, but she's saying absolutely true. That is 100% real. Couldn't have done this without Travis. I owe all my success to him. And thank you, Ovilee. That's very humble. You could have done this on your own, but I really appreciate it. No, I mean, this is the first time that you guys have had a chance to meet in person. Have you guys had a chance to hang out despite the sickness and interact a little bit? Okay, and you can't talk. Yes. So what have you guys been able to do? Again, if you could kind of try to
A little tour. I was able to give her a little tour of the area, and I have so many questions I wanted to ask. I got to ask so bummed that I can't talk because there's just so much I want to talk to you and ask you about.
Yeah, my heart broke for you because it's like, because you were so excited to do this event, and then maybe you got like too excited or something, and I don't know, it's just you gave it your all the first 2 days. It sucks. It really sucks for you. I feel so bad, but only think that 2018 you can do all the cool stuff and just make sure you're fit for that. So yeah.
What you said, you had questions that you did get a chance to ask her. Can you share any of those questions, or is it just mostly dealing with like crazy internet stuff?
No, she's better at that than me.
Better than that? Better at that
Yeah.
than you? In what way?
I think you get less triggered. It looks like. I mean, I sometimes I do well, but sometimes I do not well with reading comments and feeling bad. But I feel like you have a pretty good like armor and a good system for it. So yeah, I can learn something for you.
I just compare everything to high school. Nothing will ever be worse than high school.
Yeah, that's maybe good. Yeah.
I love. She always makes it so real. Anytime, because we are often tease her about that. She's like, nothing could be worse than high school. At some point in time, there's gonna be some documentary about how she had the hardest life ever in high school. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because I want to be respectful of Ovilee's voice, but Sjokz, I'm sure you've already given her a bunch of advice, but is there anything else that you would kind of say to Ovilee, because you've been doing this for years and years, since she was probably in diapers, like she's just
I'm so
way,
old.
way back,
I'm like 50 and Ovilee's like, yeah.
as you're on the way out and she's on the way in, is there anything that you would say to her? Yeah.
Never ever listen to Travis. No. I think you do that pretty well already, but know which people, and this is not continuing on the former point, know from which people you want to take advice and listen to, and know what things are just kind of background noise, right? And know that it's not always going to be easy and you're going to mess up, but I think laughing at yourself is the most important thing. And I think the first interview you did, you had that pastry toss that was messed up, and you handled that perfectly, and I think that was the perfect start. So yeah, just know that you can laugh at yourself and do your thing. And I make mistakes every day still, obviously. So yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What was like the hardest part of you beginning?
Oh, of me beginning? So for me, it's always been dealing with comments and stuff. And I think in that regard, like for you, it must be kind of even harder because the esport is so exposed now. So you immediately get put out for 250K viewers, right? And for me, I could like gradually start because it was like maybe 20K viewers and then a bit more and a bit more. But yeah, I had to rediscover myself. And I think, as you say, you're still growing as a person, as an adult, right? You're still very young, and I'm of course now older, but you evolve as a person, and sometimes that's not what maybe people like as much, right? Maybe you get more serious or more funny, or you like to talk about different things, but I think it's important to know what you want to do and show the person that you want to show, and yeah, fuck everyone else.
There we go.
Swear on camera. No.
Except for in my interviews where, anything goes. All right. Well, that's so great. And I want to thank Ovilee, by the way, for coming into the studio. She's not on broadcast today, but we had planned to do this interview, and we figured out a way to do it. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Sjokz, for the interview as well. What?
Just for you.
Yeah, just for me. Thank you so much. It's more just for Sjokz. She just wants to hang out with Sjokz more. Either way, thank you guys so much, and thanks everyone for watching. You can check out more coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel.